So, tomorrow, October 6th, Invicta 3, big card coming our way. A lot of fights to cover. Let's go ahead and start with fight number 7, Julia Budd and Danielle West.
Oh man, Julia Budd, she's looking good recently, especially the last fight against Nielsen from Sweden. The takedowns.
Yeah.
We all know she has a good stand-up game. Takedowns, the ground and pound. She's pretty vicious, I think she's coming to her own as an MMA fighter.
Yeah. The thing is, though, in this fight, she's actually fighting Danielle West as opposed to her original opponent, which was Elena Maxwell. And I would think that you're when you're fighting Elena Maxwell, you're expecting somebody with really heavy hands to come at you. Elena's got a good ground game, but I'm pretty sure Bud was expecting it to be a striking game and transitioning to the ground. Now she's fighting Danielle West. Danielle West has a very good jiu-jitsu game. She's faced some of the top people in the world, including Rin Nakai, who she brought to a split draw. And Rin's a pretty good 145er, and to go the distance with her, and actually, I think she won the fight, Danielle West. So to actually, go that far with Nakai is it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how Bud handles this switching opponent.
Yeah, because West, from what I've seen and understand about her, she's fought everywhere. She won't be shaken to be in the States. She's from the States, but England, fought in Russia. She's been everywhere, so I think that she'd come in this fight composed, and I'm ready for this one.
Yeah, and her nickname's the Honey Badger, which is pretty cool. The Jewel and the Honey Badger.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's move on.
Okay.
Ooh, I like this one. Okay, so Michelle the Karate Hottie versus Lacey Shuckman. Now, obviously, I've got a relationship with Michelle Watterson. We've been friends for about 5 years now, so it's hard for me to be, a little bit. I don't want to say that I'm biased in this fight, but I will say that my tendency is to think that Michelle is going to take this one. However, this is the first time that Lacey's is going to drop down to 105 to atom weight, and that's I saw her the other day, and she is ripped. She is huge looking, strong. I think she's going to make the weight no problem, but I'm curious to see how Michelle actually handles this power at her.
Well, Michelle, we all know she got skills.
Yeah.
I've seen her at the gym before. She has skills. Shuckman is tough, heart of a lion, and making this weight cut, maybe bigger, stronger. I'm not sure if she's gonna be faster than Michelle, but sometimes bigger and stronger and having a big heart is enough to overcome a lot of other variables.
It is, and I'm gonna be sitting there and trying to be as unbiased as possible behind the microphone, but I do know that Michelle can throw submissions out of nowhere. I mean, it's amazing what she's been able to pull off. I mean, she taps me all the time in the gym, and I hold about 50 pounds on her. Oh. So yeah, it's kind of.
We saw the last fight, Shuckman. She fought a girl that's pretty well versed in submissions, and she did her best and held on, but she eventually got tapped. But I don't know, maybe this, her being a little bigger and stronger can, help her fight off more submissions,
I think you're right, and I think actually what comes down to in this fight is who gets top position. That's going to be my opinion on it. Who gets top position will probably determine, because if Michelle is on top, she will, I think, be a little bit smaller than Lacey. So she might be able to kind of get away from the strength and, be able to pull out. But if Shuckman gets on top of her, that could be a different story.
Because, both girls are you're right, it's probably who gets on top. Because both girls are fighting altitude, well conditioned. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Okay, here we go. Speaking of high altitude fighters, we've got Kat Zingano versus Raquel Pennington, and both of these girls are from Colorado, so both of these girls are going to be able to pull some super cardio, I think.
The fact that Raquel fought Tori Adams and held her, did well, held her own with her. I know Tori. I'm not sure. You familiar with Tori Adams?
I've met her. I've not fought her.
Oh, she's a beast. I knew her from wrestling, and the fact that she didn't go out there and get beat down by her, she earns a lot of respect from me. Her last fight, she in Invicta 2, she defeated a girl. I forgot her name, but she was
Sarah Morris. Whatever. Yeah.
Defeated her, and that was pretty impressive to me. Kat. I know it's Kat Albert, but I guess it's Kat Zingano now. Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of stuff about her. We haven't had a chance to watch her fight, but I know from everybody I'm hearing she's a real deal. I knew her from wrestling, and she was good wrestler.
I have actually had the opportunity to see her fight and to train with her before, and she is a beast. She actually spent some time in Thailand training a few months ago, and she spent months out there, took some fights in Thailand, traditional Thai fights, and she's going to be bringing definitely a huge, more developed skill set to the table, I think. Now, I guess, I don't know, like, just watching Pennington's last fight and watching Kat's last fight, Kat's opponents have been, super high level as well. And Kat also, her husband is also her trainer, Mauricio Zingano, who has a very excellent jiu-jitsu game. So I think that she's been able to take that wrestling and transition to a submission game very successfully.
She's a good Muay Thai coach in Sak Mongol. He's a legend.
Amazing.
Yeah, so, yeah. Man, right now from Wade, you have me thinking that it's going to be a mismatch. I'm hoping it's not. But, we all know Pennington's tough, but, Zingano might be the next
She
big
might
thing.
be. And then there's one thing to factor into this, though. She was preparing for a different opponent and for a fight in Strikeforce. She was originally supposed to fight Amanda Nunes. So we have to see how that plays into her mentality. Can you take that aggression that was channeled for, another fighter? And I think for a week previously, about that was for, a week previously, and bring it to the table.
That change of opponent
can mess with your head, for sure. Oh, this one's going to be, for me, this is a personal favorite. Tara La Rosa and Vanessa Porto are fighting at 125 pounds. Tara La Rosa she's one of the fighters that actually inspired me to become a fighter. When I watched her fight with the Hook and Shoot Revolution DVD in 2001, I saw that and I was like, I want to be a fighter. She's amazing. She's amazing not just because of her skill set, but because she has not quit in all the amazing things that have happened for other female fighters in the sport, and yet somehow it's kind of eclipsed her. She's got a wonderful record, 21-2, and yet somehow she's never achieved that super stardom that other female fighters have done, despite beating high-level opponents constantly. But she's fighting Vanessa Porto, and Vanessa Porto is actually pretty much the Brazilian equivalent of her in that. Never reached superstardom. Such a good fighter.
Very aggressive. Pit bull. A pit bull. La Rosa, man, she's been around for a while. She's been doing big things for a while. I'm hoping that Invicta will give her the platform to where she can get the recognition she deserves. And she's fighting a good person, a good fighter as well in Porto, where she looks impressive beating Porto. Maybe it can catapult her into the limelight.
Yeah, and I think that they are going to be establishing a flyweight title, and hopefully we'll see, maybe the winner of this bout and the winner of the Honchek Daily bout. Maybe these are going to be contenders for the 125 female title.
But quick question, wasn't La Rosa usually at 135?
Yes, La Rosa fought at 135 for the majority of her career. She made a switch to 125, which I think was a healthy switch for her because she's a very, very small 35er. So, we'll see how successful that is. I mean, I think she made the switch 2 or 3 years ago, but because the talent pool at 135 is the one that's always been focused on, I think she remained in that division for probably longer than she should have.
I hope that the weight cut isn't too hard on her, because, sometimes you might be small, but that weight cut can still get you.
That's absolutely true. So. Yeah. And this will actually be Porto's first time fighting at 125 in Invicta. Which, watching her previous fight against Sarah DeLelio, I thought she was a 25er.
Yeah,
just the size difference.
There's a big size difference.
Yeah.
She fought a monster.
Yeah, she fought a monster, that's right. Sweet. So we are moving on to Barb Honchak and Ashleen the Bash Daly, the Little Warrior and the Bash. Now, Barb Honchak last time was incredibly impressive to me. I like to call her a sniper. I think she is just cold-blooded, goes out there, executes her game plan perfectly, does exactly what she wants to do, and controls herself within the fight just beautifully. But Ashleen Daly is one of those fighters who's overcome huge odds. Being a female fighter in Ireland can't be that easy. Going all over the world in training, and actually has a very, very impressive record.
Well, with Honchak, the fact that she submitted Roxanne Modafferi, that's impressive to me, because Roxanne, she's a tough girl. She's a vet. She's fought everywhere. You don't really finish her. You can go out there and beat her, but she's hard to finish. She's been finished a few times by big name opponents, but just the fact that she submitted Roxanne's impressive to me.
Yeah, very impressive.
As far as Daly, I know she's young, well traveled. We don't know much about her. She fought Rossi Sexton, and Rossi's tough little girl.
Very tough, and that went to a decision. I think that was one of those fights of the year kind of candidates. Like, I think it was amazing. She also has a victory over Jessica Ai, who is an extremely good fighter, and I think that's actually Jessica's only loss.
Well, her victory over Rossi, was it some hometown decision, or was it legit?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was legit. I think there were a lot of transitions happening on the ground. A lot of exciting things, like one person going to a submission to another person, just back and forth. And I think that Ashleen showed a lot of heart in that fight, getting out of a lot of things that normally would have caught other people. Ooh.
Oh man, we got the gangster. Where's the peacemaker?
Oh my goodness!
Ain't no peacemaker. Rematch.
This is the rematch of the year, man. God, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. Caitlin Young versus Leslie Smith. Both of these women are just phenomenal fighters, and they're the people who, when they say don't let records deceive you, that's exactly what it is. Each of them almost have a 50-50 record, but each of them brings so much talent and so much aggression to every fight. This is the one, everybody will be on the edge of their seat for this fight.
This is gonna be power versus volume. Mm-hmm. We have power in the gangster, Mrs. Young, very powerful. As a matter of fact, the last fight when she fought Carmouche, she was handling Carmouche.
Yeah.
First round, destroying her. Beat down.
Yeah, I was expecting Carmouche to go out on some of those strikes.
Me too, but Carmouche she's an animal herself.
Yeah.
And then we got Smith, who I call Baby Diaz, because she throws and throws and throws and throws and throws and throws. Her offense is pretty much her defense. Mm-hmm. She throws and she fights like a Diaz brother.
Yeah, she does, and I mean, she trains with Cesar Gracie team, so it makes sense. I think that honestly, both of these women from their previous fight with each other have made huge improvements in their game. And I think that, I was speaking with Smith, and she said that she's put a real emphasis on strength and conditioning this camp, even before she knew she was facing Caitlin Young. Yeah. So I think that that's going to bring her power level up, and so maybe some of those heavy volume strikes are actually going to be power strikes as well. And with Young, I don't know, she has just continued to improve and improve. I know that she fell short against Carmouche, but her takedown defense actually improved a lot in that fight.
A lot.
And I think that she's taken the lesson. She said she's not just training now at the one gym. She's going around to other gyms and improving her game in all areas. And I think we're just going to see version 2.0 of an epic battle.
Because that first one was fight of the year.
Oh yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Fight of the year, I put it in all sports, even boxing, kickboxing. That was my fight of the year there.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you.
I'm hoping they can outdo it, but if they outdo the first one, then someone's gonna die in that cage. And I don't want that to happen. So,
Yeah, I don't want anybody to die. Yeah. But I will say that what's really, really cool about both of these women is their determination to improve is going to be shown. They actually, both of them want to finish so badly in this fight, because don't leave it up to the hands of the judges or it'll be a draw. But I think that both of them are going to try so hard in every single second of this fight to finish, and I'm really pumped for it.
As a matter of fact, I might just not even try to score this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I might just sit back and watch the fan, let Mauro do all the talking,
exactly.
And just enjoy it, get some popcorn.
You're woo! We'll be in the background. We'll be like, go ahead, Mauro. Yeah. You do it. You do the work. That's awesome. That's going to be an awesome fight. And we are moving on to the Queen of Spades versus the Monster. Shayna Baszler versus Sarah the Monster DeLelio. What are your thoughts on this one?
Man, okay. I'm going to be frank and I'm going to be honest out there. Baszler has impressed me 3,000%. Because I was expecting Sarah McMahon to go out there and just do an and one mixtape MMA highlight reel on her, and that did not happen.
No.
I was like, whoa, it was a very close fight. It's controversial to a sense, but you know what? Both their stocks went up because it's an entertaining fight. The Delelio is a monster. That bunny boxing must be working.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for that.
You know, I might start trying to holler at her and get some lessons to get my boxing better. But this is a fight. I think right here, this might be my fight of the night.
I think that's not a bad assumption to make. Shayna Baszler, like you said, impressive. Like what she did with her game plan against Sarah McMahon, like she sensed that McMahon was overcommitting in her punches and she would just hook out, capture that angle and just rattle off combinations. I just thought it was wonderful. I really was impressed by her in that fight. And Delelio has, she's working with Miriam Nakamoto. I hope I pronounced that the right way. Gosh, if I didn't, I apologize, Miriam. But she's a really, really phenomenal Muay Thai kickboxer, and she's one of her training partners. And she is, I mean, to spar somebody that high level, that's got to improve your striking. And that's where I think Delelio actually, even though she did very well against Porto, I think her striking was the area she could have improved the most in. So the fact that she's concentrating on that area a little bit more, I think that it's going to be. I think this one's going to go to the ground, and I think it'll be exciting on the ground. But I think on our feet, we're going to be really impressed.
And the X factor, you know, in this fight is Baszler's confidence. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, when Baszler fought McMahon, she wasn't intimidated at all. You know, most people, me, if I was a female and I was wearing heels, long hair, I would have been intimidated by Sarah McMahon because she's a beast. I've seen what she can do. But Baszler went out there like, you know, like she was not intimidated whatsoever, didn't take a step back, and was out there fighting, you know, and I think that's the X factor she carries, her confidence and her belief in her skills.
I think that's absolutely right. And what's awesome about that is also just she's the queen of spades. It's the monster. These girls are so good at branding themselves now. They're so good at bringing this higher personality to the cage that we can't help but be fans now. Like it's impossible not to love it. I feel like I'm
watching Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, so the 105 title. This is the inaugural atomweight title. The first title that actually is going to happen with Invicta FC Championships. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, my thoughts first, if I saw the belt, I'm jealous. I might go ahead and while those girls are fighting, take the belt
Take the belt and run away. I know. I might fight you for it, actually. I really like that belt.
Don't head kick me.
Okay, no head kick, no wrestling.
But no, with this fight, Panay is so well rounded. Like she's gonna be hard to beat. She has the length, she's athleticism, aggressive. Comes from a great camp out there at Lake Forest, California, with Mark Munoz, the Rain Training Center. Man, she's gonna be tough to beat. You know, her last fight, she's just so dominant.
Oh, she looked amazing in her last fight. Yeah, and I mean, we're really talking about #1 in the world versus #2 in the world. Amazing matchmaking on this one. But, you know, Sugiyama she's an undefeated record. You know, she's bringing a lot of experience in terms of you know, she fought 2 times in one night. You know, she's bringing some real grappling, real you know, ground experience to the table. However, they don't let you punch to the face on the ground in Jules. So it's a great organization and it's a really good way, you know, for these female fighters in Japan to get their experience. But with that rule change, that might be a struggle for her, especially with somebody with those vicious elbows like Jessica.
Vicious ground and pound. And here's the thing, Sugiyama has a real unorthodox style, and that could possibly throw Panay off. But my issue with that is, you know, if you're real solid, the unorthodox stuff will not bother you. So, you know, hopefully Sugiyama can find a way to get in her head, throw her off, keep her timing, keep her guessing, and maybe, you know, do some damage to keep her #1 ranking.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that it's her grittiness and her toughness that is going to be really the thing that could frustrate Panay the most. Because I think, you know, Jessica, she's almost beautiful with the way she transitions from this thing to the next. And if she fights somebody who makes it a little bit more ugly and just grits it out and takes a bunch of shots and finds her opening, you know, she could be in some trouble.
So what you're saying is this fight can be billed as beautiful technique versus grit.
I mean, I don't want to like say it's a nationalistic thing, but we know Japanese fighters can take a beating and come back at the end. We know it. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. So, I'm just saying this could be a really, really interesting fight.
It could be like a real life Rocky moment.
Yeah, it could be. Could be like a Misha Tate grabbing the armbar at the end after almost getting knocked out kind of fight. Anyway, I'm super excited for tomorrow night. Like, I don't know what people would do besides watch this fight. There's no other fights on television that,
You know, as a matter of fact,
InvictaFC.com. Yeah,
it's free, stream free.
Yeah.
Hopefully they got a good computer.
Yeah.
Get that Mac or Toshiba's terrible because I have one, but get that Mac. Fire it up and then
fire it up. Watch the fights, and I think it would be a great date night if some guy took me home to a computer and said, "Hey, watch this female fight card." I'd be all about it. I'm just saying.
Just make sure that guy can actually fight back. If you pick up some new techniques from that, he might be in some trouble.
Let's practice. Cool. Hey, thanks for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
That's no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, this is awesome.